Hi folks, RevKev from New Beginning. They say knowledge is power, and also wisdom is very important, and that comes with time. Addiction is a devastating disease. It is cunning, baffling, and powerful. It is insidious. It will take everything you have, including your very life, if you allow it to. But you don't have to allow it to. You can do something about it. There is hope. But if you just sit around and talk about getting better, you're not going to get better. It is progressive. It will get worse and worse and worse. So the dilemma is, if you don't do something about it, you're going to face the ends to addiction, which are jails, institutions, and death. So it's up to each individual what they want to do with their lives. And this disease lies. It's the big liar, the mental obsession part of the disease, the big liar that allows us to pick up despite all the negative consequences that have happened as a result of using, coupled with the disease of the body, the phenomenon of craving, or allergy, if you will. We put the substance into our bodies, the chemicals into our bodies, and we lose the power of choice. So it's a matter of choice, what you want to do. Do you want to continue on the path that you're on of destruction and chaos and basically dying, or do you want to get better? That's what it comes down to. And if you want to get better, there is hope, and there is a way to do that. And I believe in things that are tried, tested, and proven. I don't believe in theories, and I know that the 12-step process works. For me, it's tried, tested, and proven, and I've seen it work for many family members and many friends, and for myself. So I know that it works, and I will never teach anything that I don't know to be a fact. So that's why I teach the 12 steps. I know that it works. I don't know any other method that works as successful as this. So I've seen many people try to treat symptoms, in other words, in an alcoholic, I've seen people try to treat alcohol, but alcohol is a symptom of the disease of alcoholism. The problem is a thinking and a living problem. So if you take the alcohol out of the alcoholic, you still have all the isms. You still have the problem, which is the living and the thinking problem. So it won't make you well. If you take heroin away from the heroin addict, again, you still have the problem, which is the thinking and the living problem. So if you treat the symptom and not the problem, you're not going to get well. So there's a lot of misinformation out there about getting well. So be careful that you don't get that misinformation and try to treat the symptom. If you broke your leg and you went to the orthopedic surgeon and he set your leg and did surgery and put you in a cast and said, okay, in 6 weeks we take the cast off, and then you do physical therapy, and then you have to build your muscles back up and whatnot, and that'll take some time. In 5 weeks you wouldn't try to run in the Boston Marathon. You'd fall on your face and hurt your leg. Well, the same thing with addiction recovery. Time takes time, and you have to remember that you have a problem and you can't go too fast or you're going to fall on your face. So you need some wisdom in this, and I think you need some people in your recovery plan that know what they're doing and know what they're talking about, and you need to not trust your own thinking in early recovery, because your mind got you into the jackpot. Your best thinking got you in trouble. Your best thinking is not going to get you well. So you need people around that have wisdom, that have knowledge, that have your best interest at heart, and you're going to need that assistance and that help. Now, a sponsor's job is to guide you through the steps, and I'm not talking about a sponsor here. I'm talking about recovery professionals that are part of your recovery long-term plan to get well. And commitment is very important, that you commit to, I believe, at least 90 days in residential, and then go from there. I believe the beginning of the jumping off place for success is 90 days. That's what I've seen in my 18 years of experience with residential recovery. And then from there, either extend or go to transitional living before going home to get a solid foundation. It's very important to have a solid foundation to, build your sober life upon. A house built on quicksand won't stand very long, and, a life built on quicksand won't stand very long. So you want your sober life built on a very solid foundation. So that's what we're talking about here. So you realize that you have a problem. You're drinking more than you plan to, and despite all the negative consequences that happen as a result of using, you continue to use anyway. Or you're drugging, and you're running into jackpots, or you're blacking out as a result of using. You're spending the rent money or the bill money. You're getting arrested. You're getting DUIs. You're having all sorts of problems. Normal people don't have consequences as a result of using drugs and alcohol. So when these red flags start to appear, you need to say to yourself, okay, I need to be honest, and I have a problem. The two questions you need to ask yourself are, did you ever use more than you planned to and have a problem? And despite the negative consequences that happened as a result of using, did you continue to use anyway? If you answer yes to either of those, then you have a problem. It's quite simple, and you just need to be honest with yourself there. Obviously, if you're even asking yourself, do I have a problem, you probably have a problem, because a normal person never ever has to ask themselves, do I have a problem with drugs or alcohol? It just doesn't come up. So that's a red flag to start with. Usually your friends and family are going to know before you know that you have a problem. You'll be the last one to know, probably. There are a lot of signs and symptoms that will be there, and you're going to have to get honest with yourself and get some help. The ends to addiction, jails, institutions, and death. It's that simple, and it is progressive, and it will kill you. It will take everything you have, and certainly you don't want that. And your loved ones are all taken as hostages in this, and it's not fair to them. It's not fair to continue to hurt them and your addiction, and it's not their fault. It's not the way that we're brought up. It has nothing to do with that at all, and it's not mom and dad's fault or anything like that. Essentially, addicts and alcoholics drink and do drugs because they like the effects produced by drugs and alcohol. That's why we use. And so we can't cop out and try to blame it on anything else, and we have to accept and admit that we have a problem. I know for myself, I admitted I had a problem, but I had trouble accepting it, and for many years I didn't understand the disease, and the mental obsession part escaped me, and it was 17 years of relapsing before I heard someone discuss at a lecture the mental obsession part of the disease, and it was like a light bulb went on for me. And he discussed the big lie, the mental obsession, the disease of the mind that allows us to pick up despite all the negative consequences that happen as a result of using. And for me, after I heard that, it all made sense, and I never picked up again. And it's been almost 18 years now since I last touched alcohol. And it all made sense. So the problem defines the solution. So if you don't understand the disease, you will never understand the solution. So it's important to understand that we have a disease of the mind. Again, the mental obsession, the big lie that allows us to pick up despite all the negative consequences that happen as a result of using, coupled with the disease of the body, the phenomenon of craving or allergy, if you will. Um, Once we put the chemicals into our body, we lose the power of choice. And that combined, the disease of the mind and the disease of the body, cause a malady of the spirit, a hopeless condition. And again, the problem defines the solution. So if the problem is lack of power, then the solution must be power. So step 2, gives us the solution, which is power. And then step 3 is a decision to live in that solution. There's that corny little saying about 3 frogs are sitting on a log, and one makes a decision to jump off, and how many are left, and people will yell out 2, 2, and it's the answer is, well, there's 3, because the one only made a decision to jump off. He didn't actually jump yet. And then steps 4 through 9 are the action steps, where we have the vehicle to change. And then 10, 11, and 12 are the continued growth and maintenance steps. And that's the 12 steps, simply put, in a nutshell. So when we go into a meeting and we see the steps on the wall, and the big letters, they're not quite so intimidating when you hear them simply put. The problem, the solution, the decision, the action steps, and then the continued growth and maintenance steps. 1, 2, 3, 4 through 9, and then 10, 11, 12. It's really quite simple. I believe that anyone can recover if they really want to, and it's simply, whether you want to or not. If you want to recover more than you want to use, you can. And if you want to use more than you want to recover, you're going to do that, And I love that story about the Indian chief and the little boy and the 2 wolves, and he talks about, one is evil, one is good, and and the one represents everything that is evil, and the other one represents all that is good, and they're constantly fighting. And then the little boy says, well, which one will win? And the wise old Indian says, the one that you feed. And it's the same thing with addiction. It's going to be the one that you feed is going to win. If you feed addiction, addiction's going to win. If you feed recovery, recovery's going to win. So if you want to recover, you need to feed recovery and do all that you need to do to recover. That means getting a home group, getting a sponsor, reading the first 164 pages in the big book, taking suggestions, and going to meetings. And they say meeting makers make it, and that's a half-truth. Meeting makers make it if they work it. You have to work the program. There's 2 AAs and 2 NAs, and that is, there's the fellowship, which supports, and there's the program, which promotes change. So you have the program, which promotes change, and the fellowship supports. So you need both to have the completeness and to have well-rounded recovery. And your sponsor, again, is a guide to the steps, and they'll help you through their experience, strength, and hope, and their wisdom. And most recommend that you get a sponsor that has at least a year clean. And the controversy always is about how quickly or how slowly you work the steps. And I don't believe you take a lot of time, and I don't believe you go too fast or too slow. But you work the steps in reasonable timing, and I believe you do it on God's timing. That's what I did, and it sure worked for me. The bottom line is that you're working towards recovery and not working towards addiction. That's the important thing. It's certainly not a race, but do the footwork and do what you need to do. They say faith without works is dead, and I believe that to be true. And this is a great program, and it works. I've seen so many people in my family and so many friends and people in the rooms and throughout the years at New Beginning that have recovered. It works, plain and simply. Try, tested, and proven. Again, not a theory. It works. Those that do the footwork recover. Those that don't relapse and end up in either jail or in institutions or end up dead. And I've seen too many young people die because they didn't do what they were supposed to do and they wanted to use, and they gave their lives to addiction. And that's a shame. And it's very sad. I wish that there was a magic pill that we could give somebody and they recover, or we could pass around a silver tray with recovery on it and just hand it to someone and they'd get it automatically, but it doesn't work that way. We can give information, and each person has to do the footwork for themselves. And imagine how terrifying it is for family members when they find out that their son or daughter is an addict or an alcoholic, and they don't know what to do about it. And imagine, having a child and raising that child and loving that child and doing everything you can for that child growing up, and then finding out that that child is a heroin addict, and they're sticking a needle in their arm and risking their life every time that they do that they could overdose and die, and the terrible things that they do to get money to get high, violating their own morals. And just imagine, how that parent feels, waiting for the phone call, waiting for that other shoe to drop, that their child is either dead or in jail. How horrifying that is. And, imagine how a mother and father feels, It's just absolutely terrifying. And imagine finding out that your child is an addict and not knowing where to turn, not knowing where to get the facts on what to do, trying to find out what the truth is on how to handle it. And there's so much misinformation out there on what to do, and just being so confused and not knowing who to turn to, who to trust, who to listen to, where to go, and just so many choices, and not knowing what's going to work, not knowing if their loved one is serious or not, and if they're committed or not, and if they're, thousands of dollars that they throw at a recovery facility or a psychiatrist or a counselor or a therapist is going to work at all, because they, could spend tons and tons of money, and their loved one could go away for months and months, and they could come right out and relapse the first day. If they're not committed, if they don't do the footwork, if they're not serious, and if they don't get what they need from the program that they're in. So it's very confusing and very scary for a mother or father to deal with this. I know how hard it is, just dealing with people that I care about. When I've had even an employee that has relapsed, and I'll send them somewhere else because obviously they couldn't stay here if they relapsed, and just finding the right place. There is no place like New Beginnings, so I'm not really comfortable to send them anywhere else, but I have to, and it's just very hard to find anywhere that I'm comfortable to send them, and I have to diligently do the footwork and the research to try to find a program that I'm halfway satisfied with, and it's very difficult, and but I know where I would want my son or daughter to go, and I know where I sent my brother when we found out he was an alcoholic. It was to New Beginning, and he's been sober for many years now, and he's quite a success story, as is his wife, who also went through New Beginning, and many other people that are friends, and I won't break their anonymity and whatnot, but New Beginning is a wonderful place, and It's a place that was started by myself and my mother, my father, and another wonderful lady named Llewellyn Fields, and it's a place that's God's house that is all about recovery. It's all about the solution, which is step 2, and we've given our life to addiction recovery, and we hope that we can help you and your families to get all the information you need to recover and to find the solution, and not be a statistic, and not be a victim of this horrible disease. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me today, and you can find more information on New Beginning's website, which is newbeginningmin.org. That's newbeginningmin.org, and we will be posting a lot of different informational videos on our YouTube page, and if there's anything in particular that you would like to see an informational video about, please let us know. We'd be happy to do a video for you on different topics. So let us know. And again, thank you, and God bless you, and have a great day. And keep working on your recovery, and there is hope, and know that you're not alone out there. And get some help today if you're an addict or an alcoholic, and put the plug in the jug, and stop using, and get some help. Thank you.